So on assignment one, problem 12, you've got a different style of counting problem. Uh, First, if you haven't done problem 11 and you would like to know how to use some of the R functions that I'm about to use, please go back to problem 11 and check out the video there. But generally speaking, here, this question is talking about having a total group of options and then being divided into two groups. So in this case, you're talking about people who are divided into either men or women. Okay, and then from that total group, selecting some amount. So this is not unlike some of the problems that you should have gone through in your lecture section. In particular, if you're in my lecture section, you would likely have seen uh, a problem that's talking about in a first grade class, there are 20 children, 13 of them are boys, 7 of them are girls. Very similar to here, you've got 31 people, 16 of them are men, 15 of them are women. Okay, so very similar to this kind of idea. This actually will be a good video for problem 13 as well, same sort of techniques. Okay, so when it comes to this first grade class, not looking at the juror problem anymore, but out of these 20 children, I'm going to select 5 of them. Okay, so what is the probability that 5 out of 20, if there will be exactly 2 boys, which I guess means there would be exactly 3 girls. So here I've got 13 boys to choose from, and I am selecting exactly 2 of them, and I'm not selecting exactly 11 of them. Out of the 7 girls, I am selecting exactly 3 of them and not selecting exactly 4 of them. And then out of the 20 total, I've got exactly 5 of them that are being selected and 15 that are not. Okay, so here you can either use the multinomial or the choose function, or your calculator with factorials if you like. Here, one way to do this is saying 13 choose 2. Um, well, let me start with multinomial actually, the way that it's written. So if you are using this, again, you need to make sure that you install a package called ITERPC, then install it, and then make sure that you load it by checking it off. If you don't know how to do that, please check out the video in the 11th problem of the assignment. And so if I am then using the multi-choose command, then here this to calculate the first term would be here a 2 plus an 11 add to get you 13. So multi-choose, and then here, just make sure that you've got here the fact that I'm combining both the 2 and the 11. And then I will find that there are exactly 78 ways here. I have to also find out this term, so that would be multi-choose 3 and 4. Okay, so here this is going to be a 78, this is going to be a 35, and then for the denominator, I would say multi-choose a 5 and a 15. Okay, so this is going to be 78 times 35 divided by the denominator, which we find here. Okay, so the probability that if there are 20 total students and you're going to select 5 of them, the probability that out of those 5, 2 of them would be boys, and therefore 3 of them would be girls, should be about 17.6%. Okay, the other way of doing this is instead of using the multi-coefficient calculator, you could just use the choose function. You can do that when there are only 2. So here, when you're breaking down this 13 into only 2 groups, then you could actually just say choose. And in this case, you could say 13 choose 2, which of course would be the same as 13 choose 11. So whether you did 13 choose 2 or you did 13 choose 11, you would find the same result. You could have also done 7 choose 3 or 7 choose 4 and find the same result that way. In the denominator, you could have actually done either 20 choose 5 or 20 choose 15. So you've got a lot of options of how to calculate. You could have also used your calculator using the factorial button if you like. So what about the probability of having at least three boys? So my suggestion is to break this down into exactly three boys, which means exactly two girls, or exactly four boys, which means exactly one girl, or all five of them are boys and exactly zero girls. Okay, so then here, if I was just going to do the numerator really fast, let me see if I can see all of this. I'm going to say multi-choose. This is 310. Okay, so that's going to take care of that. And then I'm going to say multiply that. And I'm going to do some copying and pasting here. Okay, and then the second term is a 2, 5. As you can see right here, it's a 2 and a 5. Just make sure that doesn't want to do that, so let me just use my cursor. All right, let me just make that bigger. 2, 5. Then I've got a 4, 9 and a 1, 6. Okay, so I've got a 4, 9, oops, not 19, 4, 9, and 1, 6. And lastly, I have a 5, 8, and a 0, 7. 0, 7. Then I am dividing that all by here, a multi-choose of 5 and 15. Oh, okay. So what happened here? So here, what the calculator is telling me is that I reached a level where the number was so big that it couldn't actually be calculated because it says warning, multi-choose all this stuff ended up being a number that was just too big. Okay, so instead, maybe you'll do have to break this up a little bit. If I just press up on R, I can get everything that I had previously, and perhaps it would be nice to be able to do all of this at once, but I guess that's just too much for it. So you can instead write these things down one at a time and get your answer that way. Sorry that that didn't work out for us. Okay, so then when I'm trying to decide if this number that I get is high or if it's big or if it's small, then here we're going to say that if it's anything bigger than 5% or bigger than 0.05, then we'll say that it is likely. If it's something small, so if the probability of getting at least three boys, if we calculate it's really small and it actually happened, we might actually think then that maybe something fishy is going on. So that should probably help with problem 12 and problem 13 in your assignment. Here I just have that note to say that if you've got a multinomial calculator where you've got 13, choose 3, and choose 10, you could either, if there's only two options, then you can choose to say that this is 13, choose 3, or that this is 13, choose 10. Good luck.